What's up? What's up? What's up? This is the check in, and I am your boy Heat Detector. And you'll have to excuse me for a minute while I adjust the settings. This is an everyday thing every time I do the show, at least for Facebook. That's why I tell everybody if you're watching on Facebook, man, go across the street, man. Go on over to YouTube and like and subscribe. Would be greatly appreciated. And I wouldn't have to do this every time. Let's see. Edit privacy. Public. Boom. Boom. All right. So, welcome to the check in. I am your boy, Heat Detector. And the quick disclaimer, like as always, I am not a licensed therapist, psychiatrist, or nothing of the sort. But I am a person who is on a journey. And on this journey, I've learned some things about myself, learned some things about helping myself. And I like to share those things, and I also like to help out. You know, that's the whole point of the check-in. Hold on, let me finish with my disclaimer. So if you dream of bunny rabbits and cotton candy and unicorns and your thin skin, this is probably not the show for you. There is harsh language on this show at times. Things are said at times, but it's not to offend ever. It's not to down anybody or offend anyone or make anyone feel out of place or out of whack or anything like that. The harsh language is more so because I say sometimes that some people need a business card, others need a billboard. You know, in other words, you have to speak a certain way. You don't have to, but you speak a certain way to certain people for them to really get the understanding. Also, too, accountability, because accountability is a motherfucker. Because not everybody wants to be held accountable for their actions or the behaviors, and so like. When people come on here, like you'll be held accountable for what you say, especially if it's obnoxious, rude, ignorant, or yeah. So it is what it is. But it's not to offend. It's not to hurt anybody. It's not to offend anyone. It's not. It's the purpose of the show. It's all check in. It's to check in, to have a place to go where you can talk, process things, go through things in your mind, or get help or direction to getting help in the right place, to get the necessary help. You know, like I said in the beginning, I'm not a therapist or a psychiatrist, but I'm on this journey. I am on this journey as well. I've learned a lot over the last couple of years about myself, about what I desire, how I behave, how I treat people I care about, how I treat people I love, and even how I treat people I dislike. It's been a hellified journey, and there's a lot of things that I've learned along the way, and that's why we do the show. And the show initially started off with it was called Sunday Sit Downs with the OGs. I was having a really fucked up day, and the show was usually only about 30 minutes long, and I was having a real fucked up day. One of them days where you feel like anybody could get it. I don't give a damn. And before the show, I had two other co-hosts, and before the show, because they were doing it remotely with me, we would check in like 30 minutes beforehand to take care of any technical difficulties or anything like that. A salute to Fambo Podcast. Salute to you, bro. Thank you for popping in. But I was having one of them days, man. I'm like, shit. I didn't want to do the podcast. I didn't want to do that show in particular. It was one of those. I was angry. I was pissed. I was hurt. I was everything you could possibly think of as far as negativity is concerned under the sun. I mean, I was ready. I was ready for whatever. I was ready for jail. I was ready to fight. I was ready for whatever. And I don't know what had set me off, but that's where I was at. But needless to say, that half an hour like disappeared really quick because the other two guys were talking to me. Excuse me. And they're like, "Are you sure you okay? You all right?" And I'm like, "Man, I don't know, man. I just fuck this shit, and I don't want to do the show." And then, no, we got to do it. Like I said, before you know it, it's time to do the show. And I'm like, "All right, fuck it. It's only 30 minutes. I'll just do the quick 30 minutes, whatever." So we get on the show and we start talking about the things that show was about, which was bridging the gap, like between old school hip hop heads and the younger generation. And nobody really ever watched that show at all. But I didn't care. I was just beginning and doing a whole lot of stuff. So we're doing it, and before I knew it, like our conversation went into what we were talking about before we had went live. And also too, there was a ton of people chiming in. And what was normally a half hour show ended up being a 3 hour show. And we were talking about all these different things about emotional mindsets, being hurt and feelings and just everything, shit that I never even really talked about, not like openly to people. And the next day, I woke up and I was like, "That's it. I got to change the name of the show and call it the Check-In because I feel like everybody needs a place to check in, somewhere to go, somewhere to talk that's not going to be judgmental but firm, you know." And so that's where we are today, the Check-In. And today I wanted to talk about something that I think is important and it gets overlooked. Happiness. It doesn't I don't like it doesn't get overlooked in the sense like overlooked, but I think it gets overlooked when people talk about happiness because they equate happiness to other people or things. And you can do that, but they're not in charge of your happiness. As a person, you're in charge of your own happiness and what you choose to deal with. If you're in a situation that you're not happy with, then don't stick around. If you're doing something that doesn't make you happy, then don't do it. Do the things that make you happy. And if you want to be happy, like if you get upset about something, you can turn that, that old saying, that little stupid saying, turn that frown upside down. As stupid and as simple as that may seem, it's you can do it. Like you literally just change your frame of thought, change your thought process, because anger and all of that stuff really only lasts for a second or two. It's when you ruminate on it, when you let it fester, and you just keep thinking about the shit and keep thinking about it, and you get more and more pissed off, you get more and more unhappy and all of that, when really all it takes is a second. It takes practice. It takes, just like with anything and everything that we talk about on this show, a lot of this, it's a lot of hard work, especially if you're unhappy like a motherfucker. If you are constantly unhappy or you're unhappy all the time, yeah, it's going to be difficult to change your line of thinking. It's going to be difficult. It's going to be hard. You know what I mean? But the reward outweighs the work. If that makes any sense, the reward outweighs the work. It's a lot of work. But the reward of it. Imagine, like, I choose to be happy. I choose to, in any situation, look at the better side of it. Look at the things I could be doing as opposed to the things that I'm doing. You know what I mean? And that shit, it sounds easy, but when your brain has been wired to negatively look at things and always find the negativity in something, or always feeling attacked and things like that. I didn't realize that bong was sitting there. That's from the other show. Um, it's hard to like rewire your brain, but just like with anything else, the more you do it, the better you get at it. Let me get that bong out of here. That shit's annoying me. I don't have anything against people that smoke weed. I just don't smoke weed. And for whatever reason, however things were looking, it was annoying me. It wasn't because it's a bong or anything. It was just annoying me because it was sitting there. Um, but yeah, making those choices, redirecting your thoughts, all of those things fall in line with your happiness, you know? So a person can't make you happy. A person can't make you happy. They may have a small piece of your happiness, but that's a choice to be happy with that person. I'm sure there's a lot of people that will disagree with that, but it's a choice. Just like you can wake up and be like, you know what, fuck that motherfucker. I don't want to be around him anymore. It happens. People do shit like that. But even then, you can still make a choice. You can make a choice to love somebody. Love is a choice. When you fall in love with somebody, you choose to fall in love with them. It's a feeling, but you choose it. You can choose to fall back in love with somebody. You can choose to be in love with somebody. You can choose to not be in love with somebody. You can choose to be happy with somebody. You can choose to not be happy with somebody. But that person isn't in charge of your happiness. They have a small place in it, but they're not in charge of it. You should never hold anybody on that level, like where they're in charge of your happiness, because it won't work out for you. It'll never work out for you if that's how you look at it. You have to look at it like, okay, there are things that person does makes that I feel happy about, but it can't make you anything. That's up to you. And if they're a good person and you're good around each other, you feel happy around them, so be it. Fanbow says, we is our worst enemies sometimes. We lost friends on the way to our journey. Yeah, 100%. I've lost so many friends just in my life journey. Like I didn't realize that how much that affected me. Let's talk about that. Like even in happiness, I didn't realize how much that affected me. All of the loss had affected my happiness, had affected my everyday maneuvering within life. And it can be tough. It can be really tough. But the thing is, you have to be able to really work yourself through it. Again, it's the work. Nothing in life is free like that. Nothing. And, within your own life, we make choices every single day. And who's in charge of those choices? Yeah. You're in charge of those choices. And what you do, yeah, you're in charge of those things. Nobody can make you do anything, just like nobody can make you happy. You can be happy around them, but you're in charge of that. Just as you can be happy around them, you can turn that into not being happy around them really easily and quite quickly if you wanted to. You know what I'm saying? Sheba is in the building. Yes. Thank you for showing up. Loss will hit you hard, but even in that, you have to respond in a healthy way to heal. Hell, yes. And I talked about this happiness thing today because last week I didn't do the show. And the reason why, and this may be graphic as hell for some people, so if you don't want to hear it, just change the channel. So I was getting ready to prepare for the show. It was around 4:30, 5 o'clock, something like that. But I was also making some music. I just let my dogs outside, and I came back in, and I kind of lost track of time. I don't know how long they were out there, but they were out there maybe 20, 30 minutes. I hear a scream from upstairs. Where are the dogs? Where are the dogs? There's only one. And I immediately went to the back, and there were no dogs. And then I came back up. I went upstairs, and I was told there was a lot of police outside. I go outside. I'm immediately confronted by the police. They literally stopped me dead in my tracks, like right at my front door. I didn't know what the hell was going on, but I knew I had a dog missing. And I'm like, is this have to do with the dog? Does this have to do with the dog? And they're like, sir, can you please come over here? We need to talk to you. Can you please come over here? And they were around me. And I seen this other guy cross the street, and he had a dog with him, and the police were talking to him. And I'm just like sitting there like, what the fuck is going on? And they wouldn't tell me anything. They were like, there was a lieutenant parked in the middle of the street. And I was like, they were like, you got to wait and talk to the lieutenant. You got to wait and talk to the lieutenant. And I was like, I'm like looking around. I'm trying to process everything. I don't see a dog anywhere other than the guy he's probably about 50, 60 yards away. And the police are talking to you, talking to him, and they're like exchanging something back and forth. And I'm really just trying to process it. And then there's a van there, and I'm like, is my dog in the van? Is that what you guys are telling me? Like, you guys have my dog? And they were like, oh, you gotta wait. So the lieutenant, he's done. He was on the phone, and I'm at his door because he's inside the police vehicle. And he's like, do you have a dog? And I was like, yes, I have two dogs. What color is your dog? And I was like, I have two. One is like a tan cocoa color, and the other one is tan. Did your dog have a collar? I was like, yeah. What color was the collar? I'm like, a pink collar. She was a puppy. Like, and he's like, well, unfortunately, your dog has been shot. And I was like, wait, what? And he points, and about 10 feet away, there was my puppy with her fucking head blown off. And as I'm standing there looking at my dog, my family comes out of the house. Everybody's screaming and crying and everything. And I'm yelling at everybody to get back in the house. And I am just sitting there trying to process what the fuck just happened. And what am I looking at? Like, what is this? This is my dog? What the fuck is going on? And I look up, I see the guy over there. He has like this big ass pit bull. And I'm just trying to process what the hell is going on. And the cop comes over and said, unfortunately, dude, the man had a conceal and carry license. He said that your dog attacked him and his dog. And I'm like, I look at the officer, and I'm like, wait, what? Because I'm looking down at my dog with their fucking head blown off. And I'm looking at this cop trying to process what the fuck is, and in my house I'm hearing screaming and shit, and I'm just sitting there like, wait, what? There's no what? And then I'm looking at the cop, and then I turn around and look, and the guy is gone. And then the cop leaves, and I'm standing there, and I'm really trying to, like, not trying, but I was really doing my best to process, like, what the fuck is going on? Like, is this real? And the police come after like 5 minutes. My son comes. My sons come out. They're standing there like, no. They're pissed. Everybody's mad, and I'm just standing there like in complete fucking shock. I'm telling them to back the fuck up. I'm talking to the cop like, what? Like, yeah, fucked up. Like, cop hands me a piece of paper. It was a fucking like incident report, and said the only thing I could do, because he had a conceal and carry license, is to take him to court for destruction of property. Ain't that a bitch? Destruction of property. And I just looked down at my dog, and I don't know. And then, to make matters worse, after we get all of that taken care of, I call a friend, Tony Lynch, who's been on the show, just to see if he wanted to pop in on the show. I didn't even know what I was going to talk about. And then he hits me with, he just got out the hospital because I had been trying to get a hold of him for like a week, 2 weeks, and he just got out of the hospital. Kidney failure. And they're giving him 6 months to live. And I'm like, sitting here like, what fucking kind of day is this? What in the entire fuck is going on? Like, are you serious? And you know, I talked to him, and I'm like, oh my, like I again now I just left the situation with my damn dog, and now this good friend of mine has got 6 months to live. They got him on medication, but his kidneys and shit and liver are gone. Too late for any type of dialysis or anything like that. And he was just like in this, hey man, it is what it is. You know, I just have to get my affairs in order. And it is what it is. I've done my job. I've done what, and I'm just sitting here like, whoa, wait, what? What? And then I have this show to do, and I'm like, man, I just called you to see if you want to be on the show tonight. And, you know, and he goes, well, what's wrong with you, man? I hear in your voice as soon as I was talking to you, are you okay? I was like, I mean, no, but damn, I mean, you know, and he's like, well, what's the matter? And I told him what had just happened. And he was like, well, you can't do your show tonight, man. You can't do your show tonight. Please don't do your show tonight. And I struggled with that, but I didn't do the show. And I sat in all of that for the next few days and really, really thought about what I do, how I interact with people, how I behave, how I process shit, my happiness, because that shit really hit me. And with all of that, and just within a matter of an hour, and then the days following, I had so much shit pop up in my head. My mother's death, my brother's death, how I had not grieved them properly. Friends that have since passed that I haven't grieved. Friends that I haven't spoken to in a long time that I don't even know if they're well or not. And then myself, like, what am I doing? What the fuck am I doing? You know, what am I doing with me? Like, what, am I happy with me? Am I happy with the people around me? Am I happy? It really, 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 really fucked with me. Shout out to Sheba. I see everything. I was just like in thought, you know, about that, about everything, and I appreciate your kind words. I really do. And yeah, she was more than property. She was way more than property. And she was born in my home. She never really been outside like that or anything. She was perpetually happy, this dog. This dog would wag his tail no matter what. The dog was just happy all of the fucking time. So happy that it was annoying. All the time. Just happy. She'd be in trouble and just fucking happy. Like, you know, she was the greatest dog. And I think I told the story like maybe 2 weeks before that, she had ate a bag of edibles, 1,000 milligrams of THC, and she was fucked up. And she was fucked up for 2 days. Shit was hilarious. And I have it on videotape. I have to show it one day. Yeah, that shit was wild. She was so high, and I was in the middle of doing the check-in, as a matter of fact, And my son had brought her in here, and he's like, I think she's okay now. And he set her down, and there's a couch in the studio. So he set her down on the couch, and she was laying there. And I was like, okay. So I'm talking, and all of a sudden, she like does this flip and lands on her back off the couch, and is sitting there wobbling and everything. And I was like, I was laughing so hard I couldn't stop. There's no way I could do the show because she was walking around here stumbling, tail wagging, bumping into shit, staring at things all crazy. It was too funny. But yeah. But yeah, I was thinking about on a whole bunch of stuff, man. Like happiness and the fact that that dog was perpetually happy, no matter what, you know. And it really had me thinking about myself. What am I doing? Am I happy? Are the people around me, do they invest in my happiness, or do I expect them to invest in my happiness? Do they play a part in my happiness? All of that, all of that really made me think. And it gave me a bigger perspective, I think, on happiness. And I know I say all the time on the show, like wake up in the morning and make your day better than the day before, because you're in charge of that. You can make better decisions the next day or whatever when you wake up. And that shit put even that in a bigger light and a bigger perspective, because there's a lot of things that upset us as people all the time. There's things that happen around us. There are things that make us unhappy. We might not be happy with our job. We might not be happy with our significant other. We might not be happy with our kids. We might not be happy with the fucking weather. We might not, there's a myriad of things that could possibly make someone feel unhappy. But these last few days, I've really been like, you know what? I'm going to be like my dog Wonder. I'm just going to be perpetually happy. Fuck it. I mean, what could it hurt? Keep me in a good mind state, and possibly that'll rub off on somebody else. Possibly that my happiness within myself will make somebody else feel happy. Just being in the presence, just being in the vicinity of the energy. I think it's important. I think it's so important because I had never really gave it that kind of thought. Sheba, happiness is so important. It makes you respond and elevate way when you're happy. Yeah. Elevate in a, wait a minute, come on now. It makes you respond in an elevated way when you're happy. Get it together, Jorge. All right, that person who took your dog's life was not happy. A happy person would never respond the way he did. Yeah, 100%. I mean, he had a dog. Isn't his dog his first line of defense? You know what I'm saying? I think I talked to a friend, and they were like, there's a lot of people. I used to carry a gun, and I said, after all this had happened, when you carry a weapon like that, it's so important to keep your mind in check, because if you don't, you low key start having this godlike complex. You start feeling like, well, I could, especially if you're not happy, if you're not, back to the happiness, right? If you're not cool with yourself, if you're not cool with people, or just constantly on edge, and you have a weapon, and it's like, man, I think this person, I didn't even say the fucking other part. So prior to that, maybe 3-4 months earlier, someone shot my neighbor's dog in their backyard in the head. Then, now remember, this happened Sunday. Tuesday, there was a dog on the corner that someone shot and covered it in a blanket and left it on the corner at the park. I live across the street from a park, literally across the street. And on one corner, they found a dog that was shot, covered in a blanket on the corner. That was on Tuesday. My dog was shot on Sunday. 6 months prior to that, about 6 months, I want to say, on another block, someone had walked through the alley and shot someone's dog in the head that was in their backyard. So I don't know if this is the same person, but definitely going to go to court and at least put this on record. So if this person shoots somebody else's dog, I'm not going to say it was him, but shit don't look right. I can tell you that much. And we haven't seen him around here. And I suspect he's not going to be coming back around anytime soon. And the fucked up thing is I want to confront him, but then guess what? Yeah, I'll get fucking shot. Yeah, I'll get fucking shot. Yeah, I ain't trying to get shot. Yeah, that is crazy. Yeah, it's people, I swear, man, people. People. Yeah, that's all I can say about that. What's up with people killing these animals? Why, man? Damn, shake my head. Hell yeah. Yeah, he is a monster. He had a whole dog, and his dog was his first line of defense. A male pit bull, huge as hell. My dog was a puppy. Granted, she was a big-ass puppy, but she was a puppy nonetheless. And she was my dog. So, rest in peace to Wonder. And I guess my daughter had said something that, she felt really bad by saying it, but she said, well, at least it was quick and she wasn't in any pain. Yeah, I guess. But it left everybody else in pain. Someone else's actions. There's a ton of shit that motherfucker could have done, but whatever. But it did really have me thinking about happiness and who's in charge of my happiness, who's in, are people in charge of my happiness? Do I allow someone to be in charge of my happiness? No, hell no, I ain't gonna do that. They play a role in my happiness, a role, like a cameo. But ultimately, I'm in charge of my happiness. So today, I wanted to tell everybody, man, take charge of your happiness. Take charge of it. That's what I've been doing the last couple of days. I don't give a shit what happens. Because I'm breathing. I'm alive and kicking. So I don't give a fuck what happens. I don't give a fuck what is said to me. I am going to be happy. Period. Because I can't deal with not being happy. Yes, we have to make our happiness sacred, the sacred area we control indeed. Yeah, 100%. Shout out to Overdose. Q, man. Appreciate you stopping through. Love yourself. Hell yes. Hell yes. But yeah. So that's the thing. I'm going to surround myself with people that are like-minded, that want to be happy. Now, I'm not saying like, oh, I'm just going to be walking around on fucking rainbows and cotton candy and all that kind of shit. I'm just going to be happy. I'm going to be happy because I'm alive. You know what I'm saying? Jeez, my G's. Why not happiness? Yeah. I am going to be happy. I'm happy as fuck right now. I'm going to protect my energy. I think everybody should protect their energy. Yeah. Well, that's all I wanted to say tonight. Keep it short, keep it sweet. Be in charge of your happiness, people. Be in charge of your happiness. I appreciate everybody stopping through. I'll be back next week, next Sunday, just like always. Every time, this is the check-in. Be good to yourself and be motherfucking happy. You know what I'm talking about? Peace.